hooks on animals, a lot of kids. What we do is, once again, quarterly, we spray for a pre-emergent for the sand spurs. It's reduced it, I'd say, at least by 80%. Unfortunately, we will never be able to completely eradicate the sand spurs. Chevron Park is probably the highest area for the sand spurs.
All right,
Yes.
Good deal.
We are actually adding sod to the Chevron Park within I believe the next 3 weeks in the central area. So all the Chevron Park residents will have an area to play with fresh sod.
Okay, thanks. We're going to talk about education issues here after the medical stuff. Could you guys scroll down or scroll back up? We'll talk about the medical here in a second. Routine maintenance, pets going in the water. Support for professional spouses seeking employment. So I know we have a lot of efforts out there for transition assistance and for spouse employment, but are you able to speak to any of them from what we offer, Airmen and Family Readiness? There was also a comment about some services, if I understood it correctly, not being open to everyone or not being open to all services. I'll say that everything that MacDill Air Force Base provides, unless it's a very specific thing that only an airman or an Air Force family would utilize, is open to everyone, regardless of what command you're from. And if there is something that you're being excluded from, I need to know about it. So please let me know if there's something out there, all right? If you can give me a specific example. And there'll be another opportunity if you want to send in anonymously something that's an issue. So, but employment for spouses, Pete?
Correct. I think the best thing that I can talk to is through our Airmen and Family Readiness folks, and we've got Major Duke here who can talk to that one directly. One of the new things that we have going for us is it's called the Transition Center at the BX in the BX courtyard. That is there to serve not only active duty but spouses as well, and that is another opportunity for you to go and speak directly with people who are seeking employees. So a lot of opportunity, and it is the start of a process. It is not an immediate answer, but it is a start, and spouses are allowed to participate in that. And Tamara, do you have anything else?
Hi, sir. Yes. Thank you for that question. If you have any questions about it after this event, I'd be happy to entertain those here one-on-one, because each situation is normally a little bit different, and I hate to just give an overview, but in addition to the Career Source Tampa Bay, that's in our transition program that's there on the base, we also have our civilian personnel office. So if you could just stop by here and just talk to me later, I can help with that a little bit.
All right, thanks, Major Duke. So if you stop by Career Source Tampa Bay in the BX food court there, any spouse should be able to. That's the initial answer. And then we're going to take all of these questions. We'll put together a concise summary with some answers and responses, and we'll post this back out on our website and the Facebook page, all right, to get you more information on each of these. But to keep moving, there's a question from Facebook. What is it? Or should I look up here? Thanks. We have an alley behind our house in Independence Park. There is no speed limit sign, and people speed through the alley despite the amount of children riding their bikes in the area. We've addressed this with Harbor Bay, asking for speed bumps, but Harbor Bay says it's a security issue. Who can help us? Pete. Nate. Thanks. That's a great question.
I haven't actually heard of that one from a security standpoint, so I'll turn it to Colonel.
In the Freedom neighborhoods, we put 15-mile-per-hour speed limit signs in the alleys. We did not do so because we simply didn't get any complaints in Independence, but we can absolutely do that. I haven't heard of speed bumps being requested before, but we can look at it.
All right, and for that parent, if you could call security forces with a license plate or a description of the vehicle, there aren't that many folks who live in this neighborhood, so it should be pretty easy for us to take care of that. Hopefully we'll solve it for you. All right. I'm going to move on to the next question here. So my medical care is, And you can see the scale here. Excellent, good, satisfactory, marginal, or poor. And this will be our lead-in for the medical questions. The next one will give you a chance to identify your top concern with military medical care here. All right, relatively small numbers. While those are still coming in, we'll go to the next one, which gives you an opportunity to identify your top concern with your military health care here. And then we'll start the questions. But while we're having those responses come in, Pete, could some of your team answer a couple of these questions on, let's see, apologize to the folks on Facebook if it's hard to hear the speakers. I'm trying to talk into this mic, but I can't get it any closer to my face. There's some major issues with the housing here on base that no one seems to be able to address. There's a major disconnect between the housing office and maintenance office. There are problems with mold that many families have been, wow, that's a lot to read. But we'll take all of this and we'll digest it. But is there anything in there, Pete, that you or Harbor Bay might be willing to speak to live?
Sir, we'll get with that family specifically. We've had some ongoing maintenance issues with their house, and we'll get with them, and we'll also provide you some feedback on what we're doing with that. To get
Great.
that resolved.
Thanks, I appreciate it. Curious as to why we don't get monthly statements for our utilities. I think I know the answer to that, but would y'all like to?
If one of the meters is not being read properly, the company does come in quarterly to repair those. So if it's broken in the beginning of a quarter, they find out it's broken, it could take up to 6 months to repair. So they wouldn't get a statement, a charge, or a credit.
Okay, all right. Otherwise, if it's working normally, you'd get a monthly statement?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
So they can also monitor their usage on a daily basis.
all right, great, thanks. So top concerns with military medical care, these are the only two that have come in? All right, Colonel Kevin Franke is our Med Group Commander. So I'll let you speak to some of these, Kevin, while they come in, because I know this is a key topic for a lot of folks.
So part of the discussion, I think, should be, is it the delivery of the health care or the access? And so when you look at the delivery of health care, how your provider is taking care of the patient itself, some of the satisfaction reports or the reports that we get is that 99 to 100%, 97% on a monthly basis for the last few years has been kind of our average. We also have been accredited by HHHC, NCQA, and our Air Force level of inspection processes. So when it comes to the clinical side, I think we're meeting the care. And recently, as of yesterday, the DoD report states that the delivery of DoD healthcare is excellent to above equivalent to the other healthcare plans in the civilian sector. I think the issue that you guys might be relating to is the access, which is a different perspective, and it's the appointment line. So right now with the appointment line, as of August or July, the phone system was cut over, and we lost, the lines kind of went in different directions. So working with the MSG, we were able to actually fix the phone line system. Now with the phone line system, we've gone from 23 available phone lines for our appointment clerks to answer to 82. So you're now going to be on hold currently a little bit longer than you previously had been. So some of the things we'd like to talk about is give you some additional access points. For instance, you have TRICARE Online, which as of right before I came over here about 30 minutes ago, I actually went online to check for an appointment for tomorrow for myself and my daughter, and I was able to do that within 4 minutes. So in family health as well as in flight medicine, I did that for both of us. So I think what we want to do is try to give you guys some alternatives access points, which would be TRICARE Online, as well as our ability of MyCare, which will give you the access to email your providers and discuss some of the questions that you might have. And the third thing that we have is the nurse advice line, which can be used 24/7. And that's been really effective not only here at MacDill, but also it's a new implemented program across the DoD. So there's been multiple issues that have kind of confounded the appointment issue. In addition to, we had a unfortunate outpouring of providers that left during the summer cycle, and those positions have been filled. So looking at the contract, we've been able to. One more thing was the appointment clerks. We went from 9 to 5 during the last 2 months. Those contracts have been completely filled, and we now have those guys fully employed. So the appointment line guys are available. We have access to TRICARE Online, and then you also have the advice line. So we like to believe that we're opening access points for you. With regard to delivery care, we think we're knocking that out. So just let us know if there's some kind of personal issue. Can't really go into each individual case that's saying that they're providers or a specific case. So in front of everybody. Thanks.
All right, let's try a lightning round, Kevin. I'll read the question to you.
Okay.
30 seconds or less. Give me your thoughts on it. Civilian doctors that have come in recently are incompetent. Why such poor care and bedside manners?
The civilian providers are certified through their own board certification, and we actually check out their recommendations and validate their abilities. Not sure what the incompetency would be. I don't. If you give me a name, we can always go back and look at that. But with regard to bedside manners, again, I need specifics on to address that. So.
I'll let everyone know out there, and hopefully you can hear me better with this mic on Facebook, but this is entirely anonymous. There is physically no way for us to figure out who is sending the comments, so specifics would help. But could you refresh folks and let them know how they can make complaints so that they can provide specifics? I saw this particular provider at this day and time, and here was the issue.
We actually have a full-time patient advocate that's right down by family practice, has her own office. You can go in and speak with her individually. Also, each clinic has a patient advocate, and if you're having an issue during that patient visit, then you can go directly to that individual. The patient advocates or the patient advocates in the clinics' names are usually right by the doors. Say again? And so you can access them through there.
Yeah, we'll take a look at this one here. CENTCOM Clinic has no doctors listed under MyCare. Any idea why that would be?
The reason why we can work on that and talk to them, CENTCOM clinics are, we should be able to fix that one. That's an easy fix. But there's a relationship between CENTCOM and us that we'll need to coordinate with them to make that happen. That's not a hard thing to do.
When you leave a message for your provider, why is there no callback or return?
We would need, if a
Should you
TCON
expect
goes in, it depends on when you say you make a phone call. So we have what's called a TCON. If the TCON gets put into the system, we have a requirement to respond within 72 hours. To make that happen, I think our response is actually sooner than the 72 for most patients.
Where would a new military spouse learn how to use MyCare or get all the information that he or she should be familiar with?
If you go to our Facebook page, there's a MyCare button you can push on.